Welcome back, everybody. It's Denise DiGrigoli here, live on the Drive at the HN Network every Tuesday. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday. We always start the show with a mindful minute. You know, and I thought, well, what's the important thing to talk about today? I'm not into resolutions at all. What I like is intentions. Intentions are a little less harsh. We can remain a little more true to them, and they just seem a little more realistic. So for today, my intention is to step away from the attachment of the outcome, look for laughter, and move my body. Those are my intentions for the new year. I'd love to hear what yours are, and we've got a great show planned for you today. I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to take a look at my email, but you would have gotten a sneak peek. Today we have a Food Network Cooks versus Cons winner. But beyond that, what I love about this guest is she's an old FIT grad like myself and spent a great deal of time in the fashion industry before she ventured into her new career as the owner of Baldanza Cafe here in New Canaan. She embraces change, and everybody knows that the Drive is about moving forward mindfully, consciously. It's how we steer our mind, our body, our spirit, how we fuel ourselves that create the life we live. So I'd love to introduce to you Angela Baldanza. Thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So I wanted to, there's a couple of things that we're going to do today. We're going to talk about your journey in the fashion world, yes, and as a mom, and what that took to build such an exciting career traveling all over the world. And then what motivated you to, change gears, shift lanes. I've loved your story and about how you embrace change. And we like to motivate our audience. So today, I think our intention or goal will be to see where we can help them find their motivation through your inspiration.
Terrific. I look forward to it.
Okay, so take us back. You were the head of the Jones Group. Give us your fashion background.
Well, I didn't start out there. I started out an FIT graduate, and I went on Bloomingdale's executive training program, where I spent 3.5 years there, and then moved into the wholesale side of the business. I did wholesale sales. And about a year into wholesale sales, I made a change and went to a small shirt company that I thought was just amazing and had a very talented designer leading the helm. And it ended up to be my husband about 4 years later.
That's a great story starter.
Yes, I went in as his head of sales, and actually went in sort of not liking each other initially, but knowing we had a really good business relationship, and we both started to build this really great business called Baldanza, his last name, and hence my last name now. Well, to make a long story short, it worked out really well. We were married in 1987. We have 3 children. We did build a business together in the fashion industry for a few years and then sold it. And then I went on to be more corporate, and my husband stayed on to be more entrepreneurial. And at the tail end of my career, the last 8 years of my career, I finished up at the Jones Apparel Group as Senior Vice President of Merchandising for the Jones brand. And I absolutely loved that position. I had 45 people reporting into me, working with the design team, building the collections 5 times a year, traveling all over the world for inspiration, as well as Asia, and of course domestic travel too, to our stores that we sold. So wow, it was a really, really full life, full career, raising a family, working very hard, and just enjoying what I do and creating every day was the best part of it.
What did you study at FIT?
Buying and merchandising.
Okay. And after you sold your business with your husband, was it hard to transition back into corporate?
No, it really wasn't. Everything I look at as a challenge, and for me, I always have passion in what I do. I have to enjoy what I do. And knowing that I would be able to go in and work with fashion and work with people is, easy. And then just assimilating into that new environment takes a little time, but as long as you enjoy what you do and you love what you do, eventually it all comes together.
So did you love all parts of that job? at Jones? Like, because I know I love what I do, and we kind of talked about this off air, but there's always a couple parts of our job. I'm like, I wish I didn't have to do that.
Sure. There were parts of the job I didn't like. I didn't like, unfortunately, some of the financial givebacks we had to do at the end of the season.
What are those
which was
like?
difficult. It was working with the department stores, and basically you had what we called a markdown guarantee, and if certain things didn't sell, then you were liable back to the department store to pay for it. So those were tough negotiations. That was the one part of the business I didn't like. But everything else I did.
So it almost gave the retailer a guarantee, because
Yeah.
if they didn't sell your, a lot of consumers know that. I
don't think so.
They're
no.
running around with those, 90% off coupons.
Exactly, and meanwhile, the manufacturer is paying for it.
Isn't that something?
It is, and that's tough. And basically, what happens with that is, and this is part of the reason why I left. With all of that being put into the product to make sure that you're still making money for your company, you have to take somewhat out of your product, because you have to be able to cushion yourself in order to give back to the stores at the end of the season. So what does that mean? It means you have to take it out of your product.
So how'd you do that? Because we talked about that a little bit offline too.
I mean, unfortunately, when years back, I bought all of our fabrics from Europe, Italy, and especially Italy. They're magnificent fabrics, linens, silks, France as well. And everything had to revert to China and almost be copied at times, because we couldn't meet the margin guarantees. We had to meet a certain margin within the business to be able to then margin out to the stores. And that would mean, cutting corners. And how do you cut corners? Well, you have to be smart about it. Or maybe you change the quality of the lining, or you put a different button on it, or less trim detail. There was lots of things I didn't like doing, let's put it that way. And that was making me very sad at the end of my career, having to work that way.
So that probably precipitated a certain desire for change for you, right?
Absolutely.
When you weren't staying true to your
my
values
vision and my values,
yeah.
100%, yes. My dream was always to, work in a beautiful couture house where it didn't matter what you spent, but unfortunately that's not reality, and it was where my career path led me, and I loved the 8 years that I was there. I really loved it. I worked with amazing people. My two bosses were just amazing women that I reported into, and they really gave me free rein, and they were great mentors. So I have to say, it was a wonderful group of women who respected one another. There was never any catfighting going on between us. We all really, in fact, we're all still in touch.
I was going to ask that.
Oh,
Are you all still in touch?
Absolutely. One of my bosses I'm very close with and speak to, if not every day, every other day. She's an extremely creative woman, and I highly respect her. And we have from what we had at Jones, we have a great relationship now, which is so great. Yeah.
So you leave Jones. Did you know what you were going to do?
Well, yes. My husband, as I said earlier, became more entrepreneurial. And
what was he doing?
He had worked with a small clothing company, and it really wasn't working out for him in that respect. So he decided to just try something new, because that's the way he is. He was into flipping houses for a while. He was into the stock market for a while. He could really, switch gears and make things positive for him. And we talked about food because we've had such a love for food. Wherever we've traveled, wherever we go, it's all about eating at, great places and trying new things. And we also had a home in Vermont for many years, so we were really working with farm-to-table product way before it became very popular. We would go to great farm stands up there and cook, and we would start to cook these great meals at our home on Sundays. Because we weren't up in Vermont as much, we were down here in Pound Ridge more. We'd invite people over. They'd be like, "You guys, you cook so well." And we were like, "Yeah, we really enjoy it." So one thing led to another, and we thought, why not try selling some of our soups and our meals that we make as prepared meals to high-end specialty food shops in the area.
You're doing this out of your home?
Well, we started out of our home initially, and then we knew we couldn't do it out of there, so we leased a small commercial space, because you can't sell food unless you're in a commercial space that's approved. So we did that, and we started to pitch our soups to a couple of the local stores in the area, and they started selling it. So to make a long story short, we decided that this was kicking off with this little test market that we did, and we wanted to open up a small like showroom type setup in New Canaan. And we just stumbled upon the location that we're in now. And we really thought we would be a wholesaler, very similar to what we were doing with clothing. We would wholesale organic soups and prepared meals, and we set up the operation.
Who are you intending to sell to?
Whole Foods and you know, some of the high-end specialty food shops in the area, which we were selling already. Ridgefield Organics was one of them in Ridgefield. We were selling Plum's Cheese Shop in Pound Ridge. We were selling Union Hall up in North Salem. So those were just a handful of some of the small accounts we were selling. And before we knew it, we were up to like 75 quarts of soup a week, and it was starting to mount up. So we opened up our location in New Canaan, which we stumbled upon. We actually walked past and we saw that there was an empty space, went across the street to the real estate agent. Within a week, we had the space.
We do need to go to a break. However, what I find fascinating about this is it just seems, no pun intended, organically unfolding.
100%.
Really, really great. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back, everyone, and we're going to talk about how Angela's business has grown in New Canaan, her second career, what it takes to be an embracer of change, and more so, what it takes to get on Food Network. I mean, no small feat, and actually win. It's The Drive here on the HN Network every Tuesday. How you fuel your mind, your body, your spirit creates the life you live. We're so thankful we get this hour to tune in with you every week. We'll be right back.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Hi folks, this is Dr. Jeffrey Hubscher from the Noah's Ark Animal Hospital in Danbury and the South Salem Animal Hospital. There's something new and important going on at our two hospitals and probably eventually everywhere. It's called Fear Free. That means making sure that our pets are no longer frightened or stressed at the vet. We are Fear Free certified, the only ones in the area. We have the softer, gentler, better approach. Come see us at Noah's Ark Animal Hospital in Danbury or South Salem Animal Hospital.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure with me, Steve Coulter, and our Arts and Leisure editor, Sally Sanders, Mondays at 12:30, right here on the HAN Network.
When you prepare your meals, do you plate them up and take a look at them? Do you decide on which plate and how to make it look best presented? Maybe only at the holiday time. But our friend Angela Baldanza is going to tell us why it's so important to do it every day. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
So we've learned about your journey through fashion. We've learned about you started your store with your husband.
Yes,
Basically
and my son.
And your son,
Yes,
Alex.
yes.
Husband, Sandy.
Correct.
And you guys are just kind of organically, no pun intended, unfolding.
That's right.
Making your soups.
Yes.
So here we are in New Canaan. on Elm Street. What happens? How do you get to Food Network?
Well, it's interesting. Rachel Lampin, who I work with,
Yes.
came to me and said, Food Network has just sent out some information wondering if I know anybody who would be interested in auditioning for the show. And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to do that. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I went home, I looked at some of the runs of what the show was, and I thought, I don't know if it's really me, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Right.
So next thing I knew, we were filling out the applications, and I was, okay, go for it. 2 days later, I got a phone call from the casting company. From there, I went to Skype interviews. From there, I went to Cake Master Studios in Jersey City for a trial run. And then about 10 days before the show was being filmed, they called to say that I was accepted for the show. And that was it.
When you got accepted, what were you? Were you nervous? Were you elated?
I really
what
took
through your
everything
mind?
very calmly because I thought, you know what, this is just, I have no expectations from it. Yes, I would love to win, but I'm just going to go and enjoy it. I'm not going to go in and get myself nervous. I'm just going to do what I do and do what I love, which is to cook great food and beautiful food and see what happens.
So you get over to Food Network. I did watch the episode. I thought it was fabulous, of course. Oh, and there's your photo.
There it
This
is,
is
yes.
right before they announce you winning. I took that clip.
Yes, yes.
So you tell me, because some of those judges were a little harsh on your food.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was thinking, is this staged? What goes on behind there? How much of that is staged?
First of all, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. That is the God's honest truth. I didn't even know the people I were competing against who was who. I had no idea who was a cook and who was a con. The judges do not know. Jeffrey does not know. No, that is a given.
That is
Nobody knows. So that's why they are really shocked in the end when they find out. But I believe, I mean, they have to say pros and cons about everyone. So, it did seem a little bit, unnerving, and I was a little nervous thinking, maybe the girl next to me won. It doesn't look like I won. So even when she was writing the name down on the card, I was trying to follow the way she was writing the name and thinking, I don't think she wrote Angela. I really don't. But she did. And
she said something about the bread. And in the end, she said that your plate was so fabulously done for the holidays. And she sort of changed completely her direction. And I'm thinking to myself, that seemed like it was planned. That's why I asked the question. But what I got from that was your plate was so spectacular for a holiday meal. The French toast and the way you plated it up. And then when we talked on the phone prior to you coming here, you said, and I want you to share this with the audience, how important it is and why people see with their eyes first before they eat. Tell me your
Well, I really believe color and texture and the way you put a plate together
Just
makes
like
it so
fashion.
appealing. 100%. There are so
You
many,
just said it, color,
so
texture.
many commonalities in food and fashion, and that's why my tagline is "Food is the new fashion." I really believe today people are more concerned about what they're putting into their bodies than on their bodies. I really do, and I think I had said this to you on the phone. Hence the emergence of fast clothing and more money being spent on food, and really the less demand on fast food. Whereas years ago it was different. It was the emergence of fast food, and fashion was you spent a lot more money on clothes. So I think the two industries have reversed, and I really believe that people want to know where their food comes from, and they want to be able to source it back. And it's very important to know that there are no chemicals or GMOs involved in what they're eating, because it is disease causing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about that on the show before.
Yeah. So to be able every day to walk into our cafe and feed people good, healthy food and just meet great people is so much fun.
Do you start off ever giving them an explanation, like, you are eating?
Absolutely.
So they get the full benefit.
They're eating butternut squash soup today from Sunsprout Farms, who I'm friendly with the farmer who grew your butternut squash. And, they just love hearing it. They love to know where we buy our products from. They see it being delivered. They see the farmers coming in. They see me going out on the trucks and picking what I want for, our recipes.
So tell me, how did you get your training as a cook?
Well, it's interesting. Obviously having Italian roots. My brother was a trained chef and unfortunately passed away 6 years ago, but we always cooked together as kids. Food was always a very big part of our home life. I married a man who was also Italian and extremely into food and good quality food, and an excellent cook at that as well. He and I are both self-trained. My son Alex has a flair for it as well. He is also self-trained. He went to school wanting to be an architect and then didn't really finish because he just wasn't happy doing it, and he decided to come into the business with us and become more entrepreneurial, and he's learning every day, which is great. But we all have that kind of innate, flair for food.
Oh, okay, I'm going to just take a sidewinder here. Now, I'm in family business with my husband as well, and that's really great, and we've done it together for 20 years, and then I have a few other little things, businesses going on as well. How's that working with your husband?
It's working very well because we too have been in business for many years together. When I left Bloomingdale's back, in the late 80s, I joined my husband's company. So we worked together from then, and we always felt we had a very strong respect for one another as business partners, and then of course, as family members.
And
but
how does
there was
Alex,
always a respect level.
Yeah, that's critical.
Very, very, and even to this day, people say to me, "Oh, you have to see how proud your husband is of you. The way he speaks of you, when you're not around. I mean, that makes me feel so good, and I as well of him and my son. I mean, the things that Alex does in the restaurant, the first thing I'll shoot a picture and put it on Facebook and say, beautiful design by Alex.
So what is he doing? Like, what are your roles?
Well, right now, basically the three of us know every role within the restaurant. We know the front of the house and back of the house. So depending on the day, we'll be in different areas of the restaurant, but we do all aspects of the restaurant.
So all of you cook, all of you wait tables, all of you
yes.
greet customers,
Oh, yes.
all of you negotiate with the folks that you sell to.
100%.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. So we know if one of us isn't there, someone is covering, and a family member is covering, and we're aware of everything. Yeah.
So a lot of folks say, oh my God, I'm not that creative, or I can't be entrepreneurial like you, Denise, or you, Angela. And it's great to hear, so what do you say to those people if they've had this hidden dream that's locked away? What's the first step?
You have to follow your passion. You have to break away and just try it and take that leap of faith, and don't be afraid. Just like, we didn't know that, our organic soups would be so well received, but we took the leap of faith. We took little steps. And I always feel you have to walk before you run. And every part of the business that we've built here in New Canaan is that. We walked before we ran. We thought we were going to start out as a small little wholesale operation with 12 seats in the front so people could kind of taste and eat. We're now 60 seats when the outside is going.
Wow.
We go down to 40 seats in the winter because the outside closes. And we've basically kind of shut down the merchandise part of the business because literally we needed the space for tables, and we basically grew into a full-fledged restaurant. And we even hired some guest chefs along the way to help us get through the dinner portion. We started out bringing in guest chefs to work with our beautiful organic produce once a month, and inviting select customers with a price fix, and it worked. And then once a month became twice a month, and then one of those chefs did work out and start working for us Thursday through Saturday, and that's how we evolved dinners.
So what I'm hearing is that you were resourceful. You followed the consumer or client demand.
Correct. Yes.
And you responded, and almost sounds like you didn't miss a beat. So again, starting your own business is no small feat. And then making it successful is no small feat. Do you ever have any fears, or do you ever have trepidation, or does anyone in your organization, and how do you deal with it?
I don't have fear, because if you have fear, you won't succeed. I just keep going, and my husband and I and my son, we're always bouncing ideas off of one another, and in that way we complement one another. And you have to just keep going and being positive and saying it will work.
So it's sort of the internal enthusiastic flame and the flame of passion.
100%. I firmly believe in passion in what you do.
When we come back from the break, we're going to see your passion, texture, and color in live action. Don't turn us off, you must come back for this incredible demonstration. Texture, color, antioxidants, healthy eating. It's The Drive here on HAN Network. Every Tuesday, we bring people, places, ideas, and organizations together that help you move forward mindfully and consciously. My grandmother would say, the only way you can be a success is to make someone else a success. So please share. We'll be right back.
My company developed Tranquility Mind and Body Wellness Spa 13 years ago. The building had 2 huge Olympic-sized pools in it. Builders would come, take a look to develop, and no one really knew what to do with it. Milford Bank saw our vision and...
Located at 4 Old Mill Road in Georgetown, call Elevation at 203-544-9503 or visit elevationspintraintrx.com for more.
Why cook it all this holiday? Avoid the stress of holiday planning and let your friends at Walter Stewart's in New Canaan do the heavy lifting. Whether you're looking to fill in with a few crowd-pleasing sides or you want us to prepare your whole feast, from cranberry sauce to pumpkin pie, we're ready to simplify your holiday. Place your order from our holiday menu and spend your holiday the right way, relaxing. Our fresh prepared holiday meals to go are designed with your busy schedule in mind. Visit us at stewartsmarket.com or at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan.
Give your day a jumpstart with the latest news, sports, weather, and more on Coffee Break, live on the HAN Network, weekdays at 11 a.m. Connecticut news doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network. And we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
I hope you've been with us this whole hour. Welcome back to Angela Baldanza of Baldanza Cafe on Elm Street in New Canaan. We're talking about an incredible recipe, but what I like about it is fashion and food, how food is really the new fashion. Texture, color, the way we plate things up is just part of it. And the sourcing of it is the second great part.
100%.
What are we doing?
Well, we're making a beautiful beet salad here today. So not only has it wonderful color, it also has great texture with the pistachios and the fennel. So once you see this, and it's all done in this wonderful little tower, it's just an amazing array of color, and it's so appetizing. I'm going to start with these really beautiful red beets. So I have my gloves on because unfortunately when you're working with beets, they can stain your hands. So I'm going to add red beets into the cylinder, and we also like to mix the golden beets as well.
Is there a difference between the golden beets and the red beets?
Not necessarily, just the color. The taste is very much the same.
Okay.
We just like having the mix of color. Again, talking about, fashion and putting all the different colors together.
How we eat with our eyes first.
Correct. And first thing we do is we boil the beets, and then what we do is we cube them. So you've got yellow beets and you've got the red beets.
Okay.
Then we take our house-made Dijon dressing, which has olive oil and Dijon mustard and pepper, and we add it in there. And then what we do is we mix the ingredients. So I'm taking julienne apples. I'm taking toasted pistachios, which we toast in-house in butter. I'm adding the cherry tomato. I'm adding a little bit of fennel. I'm adding green beans. And I'm adding dates.
What I love about it is it's uniquely pieced together in bite sizes.
Yes, all chopped nicely. And then what we do is we take that and we mix it all together with a little bit of the dressing so that it makes it, form a nice mold inside here.
I'm getting a little question.
Yeah.
The question is, how long do you boil the beets?
You boil the beets until they're soft, so probably about 20 minutes, depending on the size of the beet. We happen to use larger beets so that we get more yield, but you can, again, as long as they're fork tender, depending on the size. So now I'm adding this whole mixture in, and again, as I said, the marriage of flavors here is just incredible. So that's added in there, and then what we like to do is we top it off. We top it off with our goat cheese. So we have a little bit of goat cheese on top. And then I like to mix again and put a very nice decoration
Is this
around
a regular
the dish.
on the menu, or is this a seasonal on the
No,
menu?
this is a regular. If
This
we
is a
ever
regular?
took this off, oh my God, my customers would be so angry. This is one of our best sellers.
This
One
is
of
worth
our
the trip
best-
to New Canaan alone,
It
guys.
is. It really is. So what we do is we take, again, the ingredients that I just placed in there and we drizzle it around the dish.
These are dates?
Dates, yes. So you've got your dates, your string beans, your apples, your pistachios. And then what we do is we take a little citrus, we take orange segments, and we place them around the dish this way.
So this is really artistically presented, almost
Yes,
like
it
the
is.
accessories on a suit.
100%. And then we take our fennel.
Now, who
So you get-
designed this? You?
Yes, with the
Wow.
chefs. Take our fennel, put it around the plate. And then I like to dust a little bit more of the pistachios because it's just pretty to have that texture around.
And they're roasted in butter.
Roasted in butter.
How long do you roast them?
You roast them for about 20 minutes, and you keep flipping them in the pan till they toast nicely like you see here. And then what we do is we just take the cylinder and we carefully lift it up.
Wow.
And there you have it. Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't that gorgeous?
And then, of course, I like to add just a
you
little
want
bit
us to
of
lift it?
salt and pepper. Sure.
Lift it
Yeah.
up a bit?
And
Can you
then, of
see that?
course, we
There you go.
absolutely love the dish it's on as well. We use Jaliska tableware out of Stamford in our restaurant, and it's absolutely beautiful tableware. So it's, again, about the food having gorgeous color and texture and, of course, taste, and plated on a beautiful, beautiful dish as well. And would you like to taste it?
I am going to try it.
Yeah, I brought
I don't want
forks.
to. I don't want to break the beautiful
design.
I don't want to break the
Oh,
beautiful.
but you have to dig in.
Dig in.
You
dig
have
in.
to
All right,
dig in
she's
there,
done.
and
But then it crashes it.
no,
Oh.
but that's the whole point. Then it has to crash.
I went to Canyon Ranch over the holiday, and this was what they were talking about. Look at your food, smell your food, be mindful of the color and the texture, and then really let it taste it. Don't just swallow it.
Yeah.
This
no.
is an incredible creation.
Thank you.
Really.
What we also like to do with the salad is add a protein if people want it a little bit more. So we may put some grilled shrimp around it, or grilled chicken, grilled salmon, and that really does make it a complete meal. The cheese does add some protein, and then of course we have people who don't want cheese, so we make it without the cheese, depending on the customer. We like to tailor our dishes according to some of the needs of our customers. There's a lot of gluten-free people, and
So what is in your dressing, which is so delicious?
it's organic olive oil, it's Dijon mustard, and salt and pepper, and a little touch of vinegar. That's it.
This is phenomenal.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you joined us today.
Well, I'm so
what
happy
a great
to be
way
here.
to start off the new year, guys. Thinking about eating right, putting yourself in a place where you can choose, mix, match, and if you need a jump start, make a trip down to the cafe. I know Troy, Ava, and I are going to do that. Can you give us your website?
Sure, it's baldanzabc.com, and we're located at 17 Elm Street in New Canaan.
Let's just take it a step further. And the hours are?
Well, we're open 7 days a week.
Uh-huh.
We're open for breakfast and lunch every day. Monday through Friday, we open at 10:30, and Saturday and Sunday, we open at 8 a.m. We're open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday night, 5:30 to 9.
So we usually close the show with a couple of good questions like this. Somebody that's really busy like you, running a really thriving startup, on a couple of other networks, children, how do you stay balanced? Is there anything you do to make yourself relaxed?
Well, I have to say the most important thing for me is sleep. When I go home at night, I go up into my bedroom and I just try to get to sleep as early as possible and get a good 8 hours, 8 maybe if I'm lucky 10 hours sleep, and that's really what keeps me going, getting that good balance of sleep.
Is there a sleep routine you do?
No, not really. I
No.
just go up there and I have to say I'm so exhausted from the day in the restaurant that it's not very hard for me to fall asleep. It really isn't. But, after speaking with you, I might have some new exercises I'll be doing at night so that that can become part of my routine.
That's good. I'm going to even give myself a shameless plug. That's why I tell you guys to use colored markers in your journaling, because you see color and texture shifts both sides of that brain. That's where the creative magic happens. Oh, we get a little extra plug there. So I'm so thankful you came on. What's next? What are we going to see? Because I'm going to ask you to come back next year.
I want
if
to,
not
for
sooner.
sure. Oh, I'd love to.
So where are we casting the net for Angela?
Well, I'm going to be on Channel 3 on Saturday morning. I'll be doing a recipe for the New Year tartines, which are open-faced sandwiches, and they're very light. So I'll be on there, believe it or not, at 5 of 8 in the morning. So that'll be an early one on CT3. And then
Where's the business going?
Well, we're definitely branching out our soups to Baldanza Soup Kitchen. We're calling our soup label Baldanza Soup Kitchen, and that we will start to distribute in more Connecticut stores very soon. And hopefully we'll also be doing our raw drinks as well and our salad dressings. So we'll really be moving our product lines forward.
Okay, great. Well, listen, friends, it's been a great start of the new year here with you. What I want to say is, if you've been thinking about doing something for yourself, whether it be starting a business, changing a routine, setting a new intention, join us here every Tuesday on The Drive for your daily dose of motivation and inspiration. It was a pleasure. I'm so thankful.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you again. Happy New Year, everybody. And please share, tweet us, and text me if you'd like to be on the show. I'd love to hear more about you. Thanks so much.